Welcome to the 25th episode of my weekly advanced English lessons. I do have videos around on social media to show this event. I like to talk about real stories, real events that go on. Sometimes they're in my life. If I do something I think I can make a lesson out of, I'll do it. So we went to visit this. Now in Thai, it's called Buk Yak, and it's a flower. As you can see, it's already bloomed and withered away. It's an amazing feat to really of nature. Let me just read this for you, and then I'll follow it with the lesson that I have today. The Titan Arum, commonly known as the corpse flower, is a rare and extraordinary plant that is famous for its massive bloom and its rather unusual odor. Native to the rainforest of Sumatra, it is one of the largest flowers in the world, capable of reaching over 10 feet in height when it blooms, an event that can take up to a decade to occur. What truly sets the Titan Arum apart is its scent, which resembles the smell of rotting flesh. This pungent odor, which it emits during a brief 24 to 48-hour blooming period, serves to attract carrion beetles and flesh flies that pollinate the plant. Despite its smell, the blooming of a corpse flower attracts thousands of visitors eager to witness this rare botanical phenomenon. Its bloom is not only a visual spectacle, but also a race against time as the flower wilts rapidly after its peak, leaving behind just the memories of its dramatic display and potent fragrance. And I guess they want me to put another dash in there to make that and then in that case, I would like to switch that to 24 to 20. I actually teach this lesson from my browser because I like to swap over to Google Translate and translate things and show videos. I would also bring up pictures of this flower when it's in full bloom. Unfortunately, I missed it in full bloom because I'm teaching over the weekend. I was hoping to get back to it. I'm going to plant some of these on my land. Maybe you've heard about them. I do have some questions in here. If you're not from a country that uses feet, how tall is 10 feet? The answer is it's about 3 meters. I think of just like a floor to ceiling in a standard home, perhaps. And some other questions that might come up. There are a lot of vocabulary words. I'm only going to focus on some. I also like talking about worldly things like Sumatra. Where is Sumatra? It's not a country, it's an island. Where is it? Go ahead. That's where this one comes in. Sumatra, one of Indonesia's largest islands, is bordered by the Indian Ocean and known for its diverse ecosystems and unique wildlife, like Sumatran tigers and orangutans. So, yeah, Indonesia, of course, is made up of many islands. I mean, we've got China and India are by far the largest populated countries. I believe America is in third and Indonesia is fourth. So, I mean, we're talking 300 plus million people, a very populous country and diversity because of the different islands. Anytime you get islands, I mean, they're still somewhat near, but I mean, like Australia, you get unique animals. Madagascar, Sri Lanka, you get all of these very unique animals that are unique. So I like just throwing it out there right there. There's the monkeys. Do you know your monkeys? Baboon, chimpanzee, gorilla, orangutan. For my Chinese students, most of them didn't know it, so I did give them in their. Oh, that's interesting. I would take it off and give them the Chinese one. If you know your Chinese, there it is, and it's interesting. It's like black star, 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 big star, star. I don't know what that one means, but we've got the chimpanzee is the first one. That's supposedly our closest relative. They're definitely the smartest. The gorilla obviously is the strong one you think of. You don't want to mess around with a gorilla. It's going to rip your arms off. Baboons, they kind of have that red butt when they're walking around. They walk on all fours often. They've got that long nose. You think of them more as like a savanna dwelling ape or monkey of some sort. And then we've got this orangutan. That's the one that's in Sumatra. That's Southeast Asian monkey. I don't know that they're only in Sumatra, but maybe they are. I'm not sure. So that's a fun fact. And then I like to say, okay, where is Sumatra? Which island? I can describe it. And we did describe it there, right? We said it's one of Indonesia's largest islands. It's bordered by the Indian Ocean. So if you know where Indonesia is, which, let's see, I'll break this out, right? Right. Indonesia is all of this. Actually, this gray one, half of it is Indonesia. It comes up here as well, right? I mean, right there, that Strait of Malacca is important for sea trade, and Singapore, of course, is on the tip of that. Malaysia is also a broken up string of islands. Sumatra is this big island right there, although the capital Java is this one over here. And that means this is the Indian Ocean. So I like to ask, okay, what about this ocean? What is this ocean called? The Pacific Ocean. In the north, Arctic Ocean. What about in between the Americas and Europe and Africa? That's the Atlantic Ocean. So there's just some fun facts. Obviously, and then I talk about, I mean, we've got obviously a war in the Middle East. Before I talk about like them to identify where is Ukraine, where is Russia, where is Israel, a very small country, where is Iran? There's some, Iran, of course, is this large country. There are some missiles flying back and forth. Hopefully that is de-escalated soon. There's always geography questions here. I do enjoy testing that. It's not exactly part of English, but it is, because if you're learning English, even your English is really good, you probably don't know the names of the country in English. That's one of the things that we just kind of tend to push off. I know I do it learning other languages, and it's just like, I don't, I can figure it out. Say, you just kind of push it off. Same with like months of the year. I have some advanced students that don't even know their months of the year, because American months are kind of stupid sometimes. So where is Thai months are actually difficult too. I think I know them all now, but like it's something I pushed away. So where is the Titan Arum native to? The answer, of course, is, I'm gonna get back out of this, back to this one. Okay, it is the rainforest of Sumatra. We just spent a lot of time talking about that. You shouldn't get that one wrong. What is unique about the Titan Arum's scent? It smells like rotting flesh, right? Rotting flesh is when an animal dies and it lays there for a while and it starts to stink. And my dog loves that smell and will roll around in it. And I have to chain her up and spray her down and leave her there all night, but she'll still do it next time. And how long does the bloom of the corpse flower last? 1 to 2 days. I did swap it out a little bit because it was in the story here we talked about, or the passage. Of course, I said 24 to 48 hours, but that's obviously 1 to 2 days. There was a word I did talk about. It takes decades to bloom, right? Yeah, it's an event that can take up to a decade to occur. I like to bring that up, right? What is a decade? A decade is 10 years, right? Like a decagon is a 10-sided shape. December actually was the 10th month in the old calendar. And decathlon are 10 events that are in like I don't know, is that part of the Olympics? I don't know if it's a real one. I think it's like archery and horseback riding and some weird ones. So here's our first question. I'll just ask it and give you a little bit of a possible answer. Why is the Titan Arum's unpleasant scent beneficial to the plant? How does this adaptation help it survive and reproduce? We did discuss it, right? It attracts insects to pollinate it, but specifically, normally we think of beautiful flowers, we think of the beautiful insects, the butterflies and the bees, and they love this fragrance, and so do we. We share the admiration for the beauty of flowers, the way they look and smell, with bees and butterflies, but not with carrion beetles and flesh flies, which eat the carcasses of dead animals. But in this rare case, the flower is after those insects to help pollinate it. And that's why it smells so bad. my dog would probably love this one. And then so I asked the debate topic, should rare potential offensive smelling plants like this Titan Arum be displayed in public gardens? I say yes. Every single one of my students from China said no. It was a fun, but the purpose, it doesn't matter the answer. The purpose is this is an opportunity to debate. So I'll give you some examples. They would say no, and I would take either side. I'm ready to debate on either side. It's just about practicing, expressing yourself, and supporting your choice. And I had some really good answers. I mean, because I said, it's many people want to go and visit this flower. And if you don't want to visit it, then you don't have to. And then they'd say, well, but it stinks. It's going to make people not want to come. I say it only happens 1 out of 10 years for a couple days, and it would boost tourism during those times. Anybody around, they'd come back and say, well, some people's homes may be close to this, and they shouldn't be subject to the smell and whatnot. So anyway, just think about this. How would you answer it, and how would you support your decision? I'm going to add more of these debate topics. Just throw in a debate topic after each one, each kind of segment. And then I talk about carnivorous plants. I do have a video about carnivorous plants and explain a little bit about how it's interesting. We talked about the term carnivore. Usually when we say carnivore, almost anybody, you say, what is a carnivore? You're going to say it's an animal that eats other animals, and specifically only other animals. But in the case of a plant, it's a plant that eats animals. So it itself is not an animal, but it's eating animals. So it's a carnivorous plant because that's its diet. Although I'm sure it does. I mean, in a sense, it's eating the sun and eating nutrients from the ground. So it's a term you could perhaps argue with. But yeah, that's basically what it is. And there's a whole bunch. At this botanical garden that we went to, there were all these different greenhouses, medicinal, ethnobotany. They were focused on ferns or moss or something. And there's a whole carnivorous plant. They had the Venus flytraps. They had these ones, which you can actually eat. These are like pods, and they fill up with liquid. So the fly goes in and it just sinks and it dies. And you can fill these up with sticky rice and bake them or cook them, and they're delicious. So that's that. The next story, and I do have links to it. There's a pet cafe. So we talk about what is a pet cafe and have you visited a pet cafe? Many of my students said they didn't have pet cafes, but I'll do a quick search. Bam, show them that there's like 20 in their city. Pet cafes can be, hedgehogs and cats and dogs and bunnies and what are those? Carabella. Hold on, I gotta get my cat here. Yes, I love cats, particularly. Those are my favorite. So let's read this. A mall in Shenzhen, a pack of 100 huskies had a wild adventure when they escaped from a pet cafe and dashed through the shopping center. The escape was triggered by an open door, and the huskies, overjoyed by their owner's return after a long absence, seized the opportunity to explore. Shoppers were both surprised and entertained as cafe employees scrambled to corral the excited dogs after an extended chase through the mall. Now, there's lots of vocabulary words we can discuss, but I'm just going to focus on this one, which is seized. We're going to break that up. But before we do that, I like to ask my students, where is Shenzhen? Now, of course, my students are Chinese students, so they're expected to know it is in the province that one of the provinces that I have been, so I'm a little more familiar with this area. But I'll go ahead and ask you. I like to. Most of them know that it is in the. They know it's in the south, so I ask them, is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Some of them got it right. It is 3. 3 is the correct answer. And then which province is that? Some of them even got this wrong because they say Guangzhou. Guangzhou is a city in the province. The province is Guangdong. And I asked, where is Guangdong? Because Guangdong is, I mean, this little bay right there, that's big, a big deal, basically. You've got Macau on this side, you've got Hong Kong on this side, you've got Guangzhou right there, and then Shenzhen is pretty much right on this side. Hong Kong being largely an island or all island, and Shenzhen, kind of connecting it to the mainland. So there you go. You've got some geography. If it means something to you, you know a little bit more. I like to mix it up with world geography and Chinese geography and understanding the many uses of seas. So let me read this, and then I'm going to give you some of the activities. It can mean to grab or take hold of something suddenly and firmly. This is often used in physical contexts, like seizing an object from someone's hand. To take advantage of an opportunity or moment decisively. In this sense, it's about taking action when a chance arises, similar to the saying, seize the day. To capture or take control by force, this can refer to seizing a city during a battle or a government being overthrown. To experience or suffer a sudden contraction, involuntary contraction of a muscle or group of muscles, like a seizure, right? To seize, to have a seizure. Medically, this can refer to when someone seizes up and cannot move, right? It could be you shake or just become stiff and lose control of your muscle movement. And it can mean to legally take possession of something due to a law or rule. For example, the police can seize property linked to criminal activity. So let's go ahead and ask all these questions. I'll read them and give you the answer quickly. So try to beat me to the punch. Which definition best fits the sentence? He seized the chance to start his own business. It is B, to take advantage of opportunity. To take advantage of an opportunity. I actually changed that around because I had opportunity here and I had opportunity here, and it was too easy. So I changed this one to chance, but opportunity actually works better. To seize the opportunity, I like the sound of that a little more than seizing the chance, but I just didn't want to swap. I didn't want it to have the same word in the correct answer. So what does it mean if a police officer seizes your car? The answer is the officer legally takes possession due to criminal activity. C is the correct answer. And what is happening if a patient begins to seize during a medical procedure? The correct answer is they are experiencing an involuntary muscle contraction. How might a general use the term seize during a military operation? The correct answer is D, to capture a strategic location forcefully. Next one is, what does it mean to seize the day? The correct answer is to make the most of the moment, right there. And our next story was in Action Comics, right here, right? In 1938, I just think about all the children who went into the store in 1938 with their dime, which was a little bit more money than 10 cents is today. 10 cents, a dime being the name for the 10-cent piece, 10 cent being 1/10 of a dollar. I know if I gave my son a comic book, he'd draw on it, rip the pages out, it would get wet, it would get ruined, it would get thrown away. And that's probably what happened. There's only a few of these, and this might be the only one in good condition. It's not the first episode of, or the first edition of Superman. It's actually called Action Comics. It's the first edition that Superman was introduced. So I don't know if this is, it's like, it doesn't even have the backstory of him, right? That came up later. So I asked him how much is 6 million in yuan and all that. So here we go. A rare copy of the debut comic book that unveiled Superman to the world was auctioned for a staggering $6 million, establishing it as the world's most expensive comic. Superman is unique among superheroes, unlike others who transform or don costumes for power. Wait, did I change something? Who transform or something? Something happened. That wasn't like that before. Something happened. Or put on costumes for power. Superman's true identity is the superhero. His daily disguise as the ordinary Clark Kent and his cape, part of his natural attire from his home planet, highlight his distinct origin. This inversion of the typical superhero narrative adds depth to his character and symbolizes inherent nobility. So that is an interesting fact, we'll actually kind of ask some questions about that. If you understood that, there is some content questions. The main focus is to understand unveiled, staggering, disguise, and inherent. If you were my students, I have it. I pop it in Google Translate for you, but I'm not going to do that. I don't like bringing up internet sites. I don't know about copyright. I don't want to lose my YouTube again for stuff like that. So we've got disguise, inherent, staggering, and unveiled. Match it. We'll start out. I'll read the definition and then choose the vocabulary word that is correct. So great, shocking, or surprising that it is difficult to believe. Staggering. Introduce something new to the public for the first time. Unveiled, right? A veil, the word veil, the noun is like it covers something that covers your face, like the bride at a wedding or something, or even some curtain or something that you don't see something. It's a veil. To unveil is to take the veil off. Clothes or other things that you wear to change your appearance so that people cannot recognize you. I think of the glasses with the fake mustache, and that, of course, is disguise. Existing as a natural or basic part of something is inherent. If something is inherent, it is a natural or basic part of something. Now that you know the words, definitions, that's really just to get familiar enough with them to know them. It's really all about usage. Can you use them correctly in a sentence? So I'm going to read the sentence and I'm going to fill in the blank with the correct vocabulary when I get to the blank. So try to get there as quickly as possible, or you can pause and try to do it yourself. The technology company unveiled their latest smartphone model during the annual tech conference, featuring innovative design and advanced features. The magician used a clever disguise to blend into the crowd before appearing on stage for his performance. The staggering amount of data collected by social media platforms can sometimes overwhelm users with its complexity and volume. Honesty is an inherent quality that is highly valued in long-term friendships and relationships. Very true. What makes Superman different from other superheroes? The answer is he was born with his superpowers and poses as an ordinary person. It's true when you think about it. A lot of people, like the Hulk, they turn into a superhero when they get angry, or Batman or Flash or Spider-Man or something. They need to put on their costume to get their powers. And Superman is actually his cape. That's what he was born in. That's his natural attire, and has to pretend to be a regular person. So it's a little bit of an inversion, as we talked about there. And then I like to ask, again, this is more for expression. I want to know what superpower you would like to have, and I give you a group of three different groupings here. The common superpowers are flying, being able to move through the air at will; super strength, to lift extremely heavy objects with ease; invisibility, to become unseen by others; super speed, move faster than the eye can see; telekinesis, to move objects with your mind; and healing, quickly recover from injuries or heal others. And these are kind of in a debate form. I have my students ask, so go ahead, think about which one you want to have, and then I ask why, and then try to argue why there might be better ones than that, or the problems they might run into if they choose that one. Again, it's all about expressing yourself. Some more unique superpowers include time travel, moving forward or backward in time; shape-shifting, being able to change form to look like anyone or anything, another animal or inanimate object; telepathy, to be able to read thoughts of others, right? Read people's minds; weather control, change the weather according to your wishes; animal communication, talk to animals and understand their responses. Again, all pretty nice superpowers to have. It's not about why wouldn't you want one, but which one is the best and why. What would you do with it? And the next one is useless, not necessarily completely useless superpowers, but I like, this is the best one. Which one of these would you like to have? Butterfingers, everything you touch is slippery, right? Elastic belly button, you can stretch your belly button up to 50 feet. Bubble generation, you can create bubbles with your hands. Snail whisperer, communicate with snails. Instant hair growth, you can grow your hair instantly to any length. Now, some of those are actually, I mean, they're not as good as the other ones, but they be useful in some. I mean, the bubbles, my son would love that if I could just create bubbles. I mean, I lose my breath sometimes. He just wants me to stand there and blow bubbles, blow bigger bubbles, blow lots of bubbles, and just run in and popping all of them. It'd be nice to just be like. Snail whisperer would also be great if you're a gardener like me. And man, when you plant those seeds and those snails come and they just roll right over those sprouts, it is good. Copper, actually, rub copper around in the dirt. It does help. So that's that. And then instant hair growth would be nice. I mean, grow your beard. I could shave my beard, change your hairdo every day, and just let it grow. That could be nice. Anyway, let's go ahead. The purpose again is being able to express yourself. And then there it is, another debate topic. Should superheroes have secret identities? This can open up a lot of questions about whether somebody can or I mean, yeah, there's problems when somebody knows your identity and you're a superhero. There's the villain that's going to stop you. Is it better to not know your identity, or is it better to have it? Of course, these are all just thought questions. And the follow-up critical thinking question: does Superman's character, who is born a superhero and pretends to be normal, affects our perception of heroism and identity? Does this make him more or less relatable as a character, and why? So that's from a different aspect of if that question was harder to think about, like it's hard to think about if superheroes were real. This is more like an ethical question. Should we know their identity? Should they be required to register their superpowers? While this question is more about for the reader of a superhero book, what's better for the reader? Is it better if we can relate to them, and captivating the audience? So that's a different concept here. There was another one I like showing: Guinness World Records. David Rush, he's on a mission to get the most world records, get the world record for having the most world record. That's obviously not a picture of him, but that's what he did. Not that kind of lawnmower, but balancing a running lawnmower on his chin. Pretty amazing. And that feat requires some things, and these are some thought-provoking questions. So let's just go ahead and read them. They are very capable of just having an elaborate discussion. So the value of persistence. Rush was disqualified once, but continued to strive for the record. Discuss the importance of persistence in achieving personal goals, and share a time when you had to persist through challenges. I like this. There was a video that I have my students watch that he talks about this. These are general questions. They're good for entrance exams, for high schools, universities, job applications. These are the kind of questions you should be able to answer, and you should be able to come up with real examples from your life, not just some generic hypothetical situation. Give me an example. That's the purpose. Can you? So think about it. Can you give me an example of all of these? So I'm just going to run through them right now. Competition and motivation. Consider how competition drives individuals like Rush to push their limits. Discuss whether competition is a positive motivator and how it affects personal and professional growth. And the role of rules in competition. Rush's initial record attempt was disqualified due to a technicality. Discuss the role that strict rules should play in competitions. Are they necessary for fairness, or can they sometimes hinder the spirit of competition? That's more of a debate, and I think those are both true. They're important for fairness, and they also do hinder the spirit of competition. So those are the questions. Think about how you would answer them, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.